All right, we are live.
Hello, everyone. Steve's here, board certified clinical nutritionist, naturopathic doctor. Excited to bring you the Prosper Nutrition Show and my co-host, Jason, clinical account specialist for Perk. Jason, thank you for administrating this. I appreciate all you do.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Welcome, everyone. We are here every Thursday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, the Prosper Nutrition Show, where we want you to prosper and be in health. So thanks for having me, Steve. I'm glad to be here.
You're welcome. Well, that is a passage of scripture from 3 John 2 that says, "Beloved, above all things, I wish you'd prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers." I came to learn about that after being afflicted. And I always think of a Psalm 119, verse 71, as King David said, "I praised God in my affliction, for there I learned." You know, a lot of people are going through affliction. We're going to talk about cancer today, this topic of defeating cancer with nutrition. Read a lot of research on cancer for many years because the first client that I ever saw that came through my door was a cancer patient. And we've seen hundreds, multiple hundreds for years that have fought the battle and won, but they have an amazing immune system that gets the body under that defense mechanism. It will get the job done and win the fight. So we learn about truth really in times of difficulty.
Yeah.
If it has to be cancer for some, then I pray they choose the right path, because there's a lot out there that's very destructive in cancer therapy.
Yeah. It's a difficult topic, a sensitive topic for some people because they may have had family members that have had it and died. And so that's something that, we want to make sure that you understand. This is not an easy topic to discuss. And sometimes the information we share may not necessarily be agreed on by all. But what we are sharing is from our hearts, our desire to help people and the experience we've had in helping people at the clinic. We want you to prosper and be in health. And that, we believe, is part of that is overcoming cancer with nutrition, defeating it. So
yeah, there's research that says we get cancer every day, all of us. It's just when it gets out of control that's when it becomes a problem. It's not even visible. I was reading a research article on cancer not too long ago. Who was it by? It may have been James Lavelle, and said that, you have to have, you're growing a cancer cell into a tumor. It takes years before it becomes visible to the equipment that they test with. That's why they're trying to find all these different types of screening tools to what they call pre-cancer screening for risk, so that you can find out if you are at risk. But we're here to tell you you can stay out of any risk by doing the things that we're going to talk about today. And if you're in that situation, regardless of your desire and trust and walk of faith, you can get well. You just have to get all the support you can in the midst of it. So we're going to get into that.
Right. So, yeah. Well, and on that note, remember, if you aren't sure which supplements that you need to take, we have a health assessment that actually lets you know what's the best bundle to get started with. So that is free, a free assessment you can do. It's on our website, prospernutrition.com. And stay tuned till the end. We're going to talk about some supplements during the show, and we're going to offer you guys an opportunity to get a discount. So Steve, one last thing, make sure you guys also look at the 7 Proven Steps guidebook. It's a free download. That's on the website as well, prospernutrition.com. So Steve, what's in the news?
We got a few articles here today that I thought would be helpful to discuss. One was the effect of and the legal challenges that are going on they're trying to delay these alleging lawsuits towards Tylenol causing autism. There are a lot of side effects of this particular drug, and Johnson & Johnson filed a rare type of legal challenge that, if granted, would put a temporary hold on a class action lawsuit filed against the drug maker by parents alleging Tylenol caused autism spectrum disorder or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder in children. And in August, we're going to spend more time on this topic because it's a big issue, and we really want to warn you
All right, we
about
want
the
people
use
to
of
be
this.
aware.
Yeah, a lot of parents give this to their kids when they run a fever, and the fever is just a natural process that the body's trying to fight infection. You got to feed that fever, hydrate the body, and let that body do its own healing. That's why the body increases the temperature. It wants to fight infection, increase blood flow. So we don't want to stop that with a chemical. But these products that were marked safe for women all the way back in the 1950s, despite significant number of peer-reviewed studies, find that acetaminophen poses serious risk, that's what's in Tylenol, to prevent women from and unborn children, or not prevent, to risk to pregnant women and unborn children. Lawsuits are being pursued on behalf of children under 15 who are diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder between the ages of 1 and 10, and children under 15 who are diagnosed with ADHD between the ages of 8 and 14. There appears to be a number of lawsuits in that regard. So it's real. There's trouble out there with the use of medication, just not a safe and trustworthy direction to consider.
Yep.
This next news article is regarding the FDA finding evidence of serious safety signal for COVID vaccines in young kids. Here we go, being concerned about our children again. I'm just so concerned about this next generation. Say it proves that shots are safe. Well, these young teens received the mRNA COVID-19 vaccine. They have a higher risk of heart inflammation, according to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration study. Researchers said that the study's results provide additional evidence for the safety of COVID-19 vaccines in the pediatric population, and just keep pushing the agenda of more vaccines and instead of natural immunity and building that. That's what we're all about, and what we're going to come up to close and talk about on today's broadcast, what you can do in building your own immune system. It works. I was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition, told I'd be in a wheelchair the rest of my life, and I'm not. And now I have immune challenges, but I'm always nourishing well with my immune products. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So this last article, Jason, is on researching the researchers finding evidence that fluoride lowers kids' intelligence quotient, the IQ. The emails reveal California dental director and his team of researchers intentionally omitted data from a study seeking to undermine the forthcoming National Toxicology Program report linking fluoride exposure to neurodevelopment damage in children, according to documents released last week. What a lot of people don't realize is fluoride, like chlorine and bromine, and they use bromine sometimes even in swimming pools, but they use it to bleach bread products. They actually used to use chlorine, switch, but they're goitrogens, and they interfere. You hear that word goiter in there. They interfere with thyroid function because they block the metabolism of iodine. And iodine, you can put it on cuts. It's a great anti-infective. So when you are putting these toxic compounds that interfere with iodine into your system, you're going to have a slower rate of metabolism due to a sluggish thyroid, and you're going to have weaker immunity. There's no telling what kind of neurodevelopmental damage can happen in children, as they've revealed in this study. So we don't use fluoridated toothpaste. I know you don't either. And we don't use water that has fluoride added to it as well. You can follow more on this on a press release from the Fluoride Action Network if you are interested. So I really encourage you all to stay up to date on what's going on with those chemicals.
You said the Fluoride Network. What was it?
Yeah, Fluoride Action Network. It's in the article there, down about the third paragraph. So they're researchers doing the analysis, but you can actually get connected with that
Action Network.
Fluoride Action Network if you like. Another good network is the Environmental Working Group, EWG.org. We didn't cover anything with them today, but we will probably use some of their articles next week. As they always have a myriad of information. For some reason, I did not receive it in my inbox this week. So let's move into a kind of a client question this week and a testimony of what has transpired with this woman, her mother, and I know you've got a paragraph there of information.
There is a question. There was a 40-year-old female. They were experiencing hot flashes severely at night, fatigue, chills, body aches. And apparently there was an assessment that she had revealing that she has some immune weakness, adrenal fatigue issues, and associated with stress in her life. And, maybe not enough rest. And so looks like, let's see here, her body's inflamed. So what were some things that you were able to do to help this?
Yeah, she was definitely inflamed. Having hot flashes at night is no fun thing to deal with. It just kind of cropped up on her. When we see this type of issue, it had happened in her mother, and I've worked with their family for some 25 years now. And the mother had been in some difficult situations and ended up down on medications and hormones, and she's off all of them now and balancing really well. But the daughter's going through the same thing. It's a real stressful time in their family right now for all the things they're preparing for. And when you're under the gun, you really have to do time management well. I just spent a good amount of time today working on that for myself, because I know we've got a big summer ahead with family. Jason, I know your girls are coming to town, and
Right.
I'm really trying to commit myself to better time management, because like these women that were really struggling, our 7 Proven Steps guidebook, if you, let's say one of those components in there is exercise, another one is stress management, another one is eating the right foods and the right amount of foods. And I do comment too regarding this about using the Trinity diet as a good guideline for setting up your caloric needs and balancing those macronutrients that you need: proteins, carbohydrates, fat. People just don't do that well enough. And especially when you're under stress and you've got so much you need to do, people will skip meals. A lot of times they'll eat bars, or they'll just drink something, some kind of juice or water to get them through, and they'll push. And it sets them off into, and you never know how long it's going to take. I know one year when I did this, I ended up getting COVID, and so did mom, my wife. It just, you've got to be careful. You got to keep these 7 proven steps in balance. You've got to daily just kind of check yourself on what's going on. And so if you're dealing with this situation, if she wouldn't focus on bringing back balance in the 7 proven steps and do the supplements that she needed based on her assessments, what could happen? Well, this is a case where the immune system gets weak, the blood sugar gets out of control, they're not detoxing well, and so toxins build up. Digestion is compromised. She was having liver and gallbladder issues and nausea. And those areas are really important for any support of the body, but especially if you've been diagnosed with cancer. Now, this woman wasn't. It's just those specific symptoms of hot flashes and immune imbalance and fatigue. And so it was a perfect storm that could set her up for more serious illness. But you can ward it off at the pass and do the support necessary. But so I would really like to see this whole month just to support people with giving them, a discount on the hormone balance. I'm sorry, the blood sugar control and the stress and energy bundle, as well as the detox support, digestive support, and immune bundle, because that's what it takes. If you know anybody that's dealing with cancer, I had one in yesterday, and she's doing better. We had a new blood chemistry from 4 or 5 months ago. We see a number of improvements happening in those chemistries, which is great, but not out of the woods by any means, with a big battle ahead of her.
You're saying that the people you've worked with before, as far as cancer, dealing with cancer, there's oftentimes a need for a lot of different supplements because of their body's health condition.
Those bundles that I mentioned, the immune bundle, the blood sugar control, there's 5 bundles, the stress and energy, the detox bundle, and the digestion bundle. All now, in some of those, each one of those bundles has ascorbate vitamin C in it. So you wouldn't want to buy all those bundles. You kind of pick and choose of the nutrients that are in those bundles, and definitely stay on those and watch and see great things happening. Everything that's in those bundles was a part of our protocols coming off of COVID and rebuilding the body.
Mhm.
And definitely would say it's why I have stronger immunity today.
Mhm. Yeah, I would say encourage people to find out. You can do that self-assessment, the free health assessment that kind of focuses on getting you on the bundle that's the top priority for you. But what Steve is sharing here is cancer starts to be a big it becomes a big issue for people when they're severely nutrient deficient in many areas. And we have bundles that supply nutrition in all the different areas, the basic needs. So our supplements, you could call them dietary supplements, because our focus is on essential nutrients that we need for functioning optimally, our bodies improving their health in every way. So definitely take a look at those bundles. You can start with one, but if you're dealing with severe issues like cancer, you may need a larger, more in detail supplement plan. And that's something that we do for people at the clinic, correct? Nutrition and Health Center.
That's right. And do that often. I'm probably seeing people that are going through cancer treatment, maybe 2 or 3 a week minimum, and have for 30 years. It's just, this is Houston, Texas. The MD Anderson Cancer Center is here. It's kind of the cancer capital of the world.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that point to our environment. Epigenetics is a big part of why we get cancer. And just as easy as we get it, we can reverse it. I know Amy, my wife, had a lump she could feel in her breast some 25 years ago. We were doing a presentation at a church, and she was up and I was sitting in the front row, and she was talking and sharing. She said she could feel a lump in her breast at one point. She didn't tell anybody. And my mouth started to drop open. So like, what? And she said, yeah, I knew I'd been off my diet. I'd been stressing. I hadn't been drinking well. I wasn't exercising. She was going through a number of the 7 proven steps she wasn't doing. She said, I just got back on track, and the lump that I felt in my breast, I mean, it was big enough she could feel it, was gone within a week. So just as fast, again, as the body gets something that pops up, it can heal if you make the right choices. So, and we take nutrition very seriously when we get our act together. So I wanted to this week do something a little new. I don't know that we'll do it every week, but because stress is such a big component of disease, that in fact, just about every disease is linked to it. I wanted to highlight a particular book called Addicted to Busy by Brady Boyd. Addicted to Busy. You might want to pull that up. Michael Morris, he's a counselor, friend, a pastoral ministry he's involved with as well. And this Addicted to Busy book, just there's 3 main parts. The first part, he goes into disease and restlessness, distraction versus devotion. And then part 2, he talks about discovery, knowing who we are. And what's interesting in there is his real strong commitment about Shabbat Shalom, which is honoring God with the Sabbath, so that you're taking a Sabbath day rest and getting the refreshing and healing you need to. In light of that, they actually took a study on animals that were used for working, and they would work these animals 6 days a week, rest them on the 7th day, and they had healthy production in the work that they did. Well, they decided to stretch that a little bit. I think they went to 10 days, and then they would rest 1 day. And the animals started having more sickness and diseases and death. So it was pretty powerful that even animals are impacted by this natural law, that we need that Sabbath rest. And that's in there. He comments in that part 2 under discovery about the Jesus pace and choosing my vine, so that we can stay pruned and continue to produce fruit. So love this book. It was a grabber for me, and I wanted to kind of recommit myself by making a schedule and focusing and being determined on what I do each day, and not trying to push myself too hard. And then part 3 is labeled determination, what to do on a do nothing day. And he closes with the topic of how to come alive with the fullness of God in your everyday life. So I think y'all would enjoy it. It's a really inexpensive book. It's been around for a while, and it was really ministered to me on the issue of being too busy, because he literally talks at the beginning about how we use that it's kind of a braggart thing, that when somebody says, well, how are you doing? Well, I'm busy. I'm busy. I'm really busy. And it's just not something that we should be spewing out on a regular basis. We should be more conservative and say, I'm resting. I'm refreshing. I like his words here that he uses on the actual, he talks about the rhythms, the restful rhythms, living intentionally, sanely, and in peace. So I want to go from glory to glory and rest in a day and enjoy the work that I do, and come out of it refreshed, not burned out, because I want to continue to do this for another, I don't know, a whole generation, I hope.
Yeah. Well, we want you around. And one of the things that I'm going to type in the chat is the coupon code. What we've talked about today, folks, is helping defeat cancer with nutrition. And Steve talked a lot about how there are different supplements needed for individuals. Take that free health assessment to see where you can get started. But there are just about all of our supplements might be useful for an individual dealing with cancer. So we're going to give a 15% coupon to you guys on any of the bundles. You can get all the bundles. You can get one bundle, 50% off all the bundles. If you use the coupon, it's good through next week. The show next Wednesday night is when it will be good till. The coupon code is PNS, Prosper Nutrition Show, PNS 6/1/23, the date today. So this is the 1st of June. And so it's 6/1/23, PNS 6/1/23. So that's the coupon code you'll use at checkout for getting a discount on 15% off the bundles at prospernutrition.com.
Well, that is a great opportunity on all products. You're going to do that? Or
all of the bundles.
All the bundles. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because there's really, I listed detox bundle, immune bundle, digestion, glucose, and stress and energy. So we have 6 bundles, and a 7th one is coming by the end of this summer on mental health, brain health. So you can take advantage of that before going back to school. But, these 5 bundles will really make a difference in building up the body so that you can fight that nasty war against cancer and win. as
Mhm.
many have. I had a guy come in. He had been in with his son, and his son was 7 years old. And he said, "Do you remember me?" And I said, "No, I don't." He said, "Well, I brought my son in. He was 7 years old, and this was about 7 years ago." He said he had brain cancer and they could not operate on his brain tumor. So we just applied the things that you said. And he said the brain cancer went away and he's doing great today. And he said, "I've come in to get on my own health system support." So I thought, wow, it's good to hear about somebody.
Great.
And that happens all the time. We just hear years later, "Oh, yeah, remember I had cancer and then I didn't, and I'm doing great." So the body is fearfully and wonderfully made, and it is capable of healing and repairing. But it's the repair deficit that's really the issue because we're overburdening body systems. I hope you enjoy that stress book, enjoy the materials, and take advantage of the free assessment, the 7 proven steps, and be blessed in all that you do. Know that God wants to prosper you and be in health. Thanks so much for watching.
Thank you all for watching. Remember, if you have any thoughts, any questions, feel free to type it in our comment section. We're glad to be here to help you, but we want to hear your feedback as well. So we're constantly learning, wanting to take in what you have to share and to respond to the questions that you have. So share those questions, and we look forward to seeing you all next week, next Thursday at 3:00 Central Standard Time Zone, right here at the Prosper Nutrition YouTube channel. Hope you all have a great day and